This is Belle, and she loves birds. And on this day, there happened to be a lot of birds flying around. So she was very distracted and very squirmy. So after attempting to film this live twice, I decided we were just going to do a voiceover. So here it is, the essay reveal of the essay that got me interviews at both HBS and Wharton. If you're new here, I wrote my HBS and Wharton applications in the 1 month before R2 is due. If you're curious about why or how, I have linked my first video here and in the description box below. And I've also revealed my business minded and growth oriented HBS essays in my previous video last week. So, in order to write a successful essay, we have to understand what each school is looking for. So, I'll put a table on the screen that kind of compares what HBS and Wharton are looking for. And in general, HBS has an emphasis on leadership potential, broad impact, and general management. They place value on diverse backgrounds and holistic stories because of the case method classroom and the desire for students who become global leaders that inspire change. Whereas Wharton focuses more on quantitative skills, professional excellence, and career progression. So, this is why they admit, I think, a larger percentage of people who have more traditional business backgrounds. They have an appreciation for candidates who will contribute to specific clubs and communities. Not saying that Harvard doesn't, but it was more of a priority in Wharton's essay prompts. And I'll let you in on this little shortcut in the work process. You can do this comparison for any schools, any amount of schools with, ChatGPT and generative AI. You just say, compare the target applicant for, HBS and Wharton or Stanford and Columbia or, whatever schools you are planning on applying to. And it'll generate a table and you can tailor your essays and tailor your application for that specific school. So, keeping the table in mind, let's go ahead and read Harvard's leadership focused essay. The prompt is, what experiences have shaped you to who you are, how you invest in others, and what kind of leader you want to become? The word limit is 250 words. It was nearly midnight on Wednesday, and the church was dark, save one classroom. As I explained projectile motion physics, the students shared their struggles: abusive family members, eating disorders, and fears about the future. We learned together, we cried together. 2 weeks earlier, I had relocated to a very small remote town in Texas for my second internship at my company. I joined a local church seeking community. Since they didn't have a youth pastor, I volunteered to teach Sunday school and lead Wednesday praise nights. Soon I realized the students needed more than spiritual guidance. They needed help with STEM homework, advice choosing college majors, and most importantly, someone to listen. In those 3 months, I was their pastor, tutor, mentor, and friend. This reminded me that effective leadership requires empathy, humility, and the ability to inspire trust. Whether I'm caring for shelter cats, helping underserved students, or advocating to improve dangerous working conditions for manufacturing laborers, I've always valued the ripple effect of empowering others to succeed. At my company, I lead teams and align stakeholders to implement impactful robotics solutions, such as developing a submarine to replace divers in alligator infested waters. This achievement, among others, led to my nomination for the Manufacturing Leadership Council's Next Generation Leadership Award, recognizing contributions by industry leaders under 30. At Harvard, I aim to enhance my leadership skills, business expertise, and negotiation capabilities to scale digital solutions globally and to inspire future leaders in an industry that is entrenched in legacy practices and is male dominated. So, after I read the Wharton essay, we can talk about why each essay was successful. So, we'll just jump straight into the Wharton essay. The prompt is, taking into consideration your background, personal, professional, and/or academic, how do you plan to make specific, meaningful contributions to the Wharton community? The word limit is 400 words. It was nearly midnight on a Wednesday, and the church was dark except for one classroom. As I explained projectile motion physics, the students shared their struggles with me: abusive family members, eating disorders, and fears about the future. We learned together, we cried together. 2 weeks earlier, I had relocated to middle of nowhere, Texas for my second internship at my company. I joined a local church seeking community. Since the church did not have a youth pastor, I volunteered to teach Sunday school and lead Wednesday praise nights. Soon, I realized the students needed more than spiritual guidance. They needed help with their STEM homework, advice choosing college majors, and most importantly, someone to listen. In those 3 months, I was their pastor, tutor, mentor, and friend. This experience emphasized that effective leadership requires empathy, humility, and the ability to inspire trust, qualities I bring to my communities and look forward to contributing at Wharton. During my time at my undergraduate university and at my company, I made my voice heard amongst the men that dominated the engineering school, the manufacturing facilities, and the robotics industry. I learned to lead compassionately and effectively, prioritizing making space even for the smallest voice. My passion to champion the underserved is evident in my experiences being a resource for the students, caring for the local shelter cats, and for advocating to improve dangerous, dirty conditions for vessel inspectors. I have always valued the ripple effect of empowering others to succeed. At Wharton, I'll share my experiences about leading technology adoption in the manufacturing industry and collectively, with my peers' stories, build unique solutions in the Innovation and Design Club. And drawing from my work deploying mobile robots in manufacturing, I'll share insights on navigating resistance and scaling innovation. Additionally, in the Energy Club, I will contribute my industry knowledge to offer insights to market trends and leverage my network to invite industry experts to speak on the impact of digital transformation or sustainability on the bottom line and the reputation of companies. Beyond the classroom, I will further champion Wharton's values of collaboration and innovation. I look forward to bumping shoulders with my classmates on the basketball and volleyball courts, building deeply rooted connections through friendly competition. And I also hope to organize art therapy sessions featuring some of my beloved hobbies, painting and knitting, offering creative outlets for stress relief and sparking unconventional problem solving. So now let's take the time to analyze why each essay was successful. We'll look at the HBS one first. So I highlighted leadership in an unexpected place because I know that the entire applicant pool has very robust leadership experience. So I wanted mine to ring differently. I didn't necessarily want to focus on leadership at work or at school or like in a club. I wanted to show a time where I took initiative. There was nothing for me to gain necessarily, no like clout or no prize, but I did it because I genuinely wanted to help. And I think because I displayed that, it was a very powerful essay of leadership. And this essay also demonstrated empathy, humility, and the ability to inspire trust and empower others. And if you watch any of HBS's YouTube content, of their like commencement speeches or their welcome speeches, the dean always talks about empathy and humility. So those are characteristics I wanted to highlight in my essay. It also showed ambition to scale impact and break barriers in male dominated industries. So I was able to mirror my experience of mentoring these kids and making their voices heard to my own experience of having to advocate for myself and stand up for my ideas and lead in my industry when I am the small fish. And this essay also connected my past experiences to my future leadership goals at HBS. And I think because past performance is the most accurate indicator of future performance, this gives HBS a good idea of what I want to do and what I'm capable of doing. And I think with all of the recent news headlines of HBS grads not being able to find jobs, they're specifically looking for people who have goals and know what they want to do next. And now for the Wharton essay, how I kind of rebranded it and refocused it to focus on what Wharton wanted. Again, with the emphasized leadership and advocacy in a technical male-dominated environment, it shows that I have, very strong quantitative skills, even if it is not in a traditional business background. And then because Wharton specifically asked for ways that I would contribute to the community, I named like the Innovation Design Club, Energy Club, and different things that I could do that were aligned to my interests and my hobbies. And I understood that Wharton's culture was collaborative and innovative. I mean, if you know about their team based discussions, you know that they really value collaboration. And I outlined how my professional experience in robotics and manufacturing would add value because it's very different to the traditional business profile of the typical Wharton application. So, in summary, the HBS one is a little bit more broad, it's leadership focused, it values impact and potential. And for Wharton, it's a little bit more specialized, it values concrete contributions and industry expertise as well as collaboration. And they both value empathy, diversity, and the ability to inspire or support others. But their essay prompts and their admission philosophies reflect slightly different priorities. So, yeah, that is what I wrote to highlight my leadership characteristics. I would say, less can be more. Sometimes you don't need to, list all of the job duties that you've had or all of the successes that you've had in your job. Sharing your journey and your growth and being genuine in your storytelling and reflection is the thing to make your application more memorable. You feel free to copy the work process, the research, use ChatGPT to help you compare different schools and what they prioritize, and try to be interesting rather than impressive. And since I got interviews to both schools in a upcoming video, I will compare my experiences for both. There, for some reason, I only applied to the schools with the most difficult interviews, so this one is going to be a doozy. Until next time, Belle and I are signing off.